If you were no longer affected by the judgment of others and you stopped judging yourself, would you make different choices? Why make choices in your life based on judgments instead of on your awareness of what would create the life and living you desire? Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here is the host of Inspired Choices Radio Show, Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on A2Zen.fm.
Welcome, everyone, to the Inspired Choices Radio Show. I am Christine McIver. I'm so glad you're here today joining us, whether you're listening live or in the replay. We have a wonderful guest with us tonight, and we are going to be talking about what else is possible for our teeth with our guest, Dr. Tom Kolso. And before we get into that, just want to touch base about last week. We had Stop Laughing, This is Serious, and that was with my co-host, Joanne Del Corre. We had so much fun laughing, but really looking at how we take the chaos in this reality about being serious and how we twist it around, and we really lose out on the opportunity to laugh and create from the joy of life. And that was a great show. So if you desire more joy in your life, I would check that one out for sure. So I am a possibilities coach, and I work with clients and organizations to co-create the living and loving they desire with all the possibilities available in the universe. I am an Access Consciousness Certified Facilitator, Bars and Body Process Facilitator, and a radio show host, producer, and website builder. I love doing many, many things, and I love being creative. Are you willing to be different in your life to create what it is you desire? My programs bring you more possibilities, so connect with me and just give me a call. The first 5 minutes are always free, and let's see what we can create together to give you the life that you have been desiring. So today, what else is possible for our teeth? Nothing gets our attention as easily as pain. Our mouth is rich with nerve endings, which makes it a great location to get our attention. Now that your mouth has your attention, what is it really telling you that you are really looking to heal? What else is possible with our teeth? Are you curious and excited to learn? So Dr. Tom has been practicing dentistry for more than 20 years, and 17 of those years he has been using the tools of Access Consciousness to complement his practice. 17 years, that's amazing. Being in the question has enabled him to activate dental, generative, and restorative systems that have been dormant or shut down for millennia. He has specific dental clearings and processes to facilitate further changes and create not only healthy teeth, gums, and bones, but happy mouths. Could this be a doorway into actually create a different reality for you and the world around you? Happy Mouth is about exploring the possibilities of healing now that we've woken up to the awareness that our mouth is shouting. Dr. Tom's Generative Energetic Dentistry walks you through many of the infinite possibilities being conscious with your dental health. What would it be like to consciously regrow missing teeth, gum tissue, and bone structures? Is it possible to have plaque and I can't even pronounce half of these things. Calculus not build up on your teeth. Modern dentistry says these things are impossible. Is that the truth, or is it a big fat lie? Want to hear more and start regenerating? Dr. Tom, welcome to the show. I'm so happy to have you here and really curious to hear more about your work and what you have discovered with the tools of Access Consciousness.
Wow, thanks. You got me really excited with that intro. I was like, what are we going to talk about? I'm like, oh, wow, yeah, let's talk about that. So, yeah, it's a pleasure to speak with you, and thanks for inviting me to talk to you about generative energy of the mouth.
Yeah, it's so interesting, and it's, for the average person, it's going to be like way out there. They're going to be like, come on, really? But you've been doing this for 17 years.
Yeah. So I am a practicing dentist for over 20 years, and so by that, I mean, so I have a dental office where, it's a cosmetic biologic family practice, and by biologic I mean that, at my dental office we look at how the mouth interacts with the whole body. And like you said, for the last 17 years, I've been using Access Consciousness as part of my practice. So when I say I use Access in my practice, it doesn't mean that somebody comes in and I spend a half hour processing people in my dental chair. So when I use Access in my dental practice, I do it silently as a part of every procedure. So basically it helps things go a lot faster, a lot smoother. It helps the patients heal faster and a lot deeper. And so, as I'm using my drill, I'm also silently asking a lot of questions, running processes, running mouth activations, body processes, all that, anything that's called for. And my patients and staff, they don't have any awareness of this. If they did, they might run screaming, right?
They might, or they might they might ask some questions themselves.
They might, some of them, but it's going to slow things down a little. It's a thriving dental office, and so people just, when they come in, they know, for some reason they really like coming in to see me. Who knows why? But things just end up in a better place for them. So, and there are Access people who show up at my dental office and they think that I'm going to do things without a drill, and they're disappointed when I tell them otherwise. So
let's back up. Let's back up just a minute, please. Huh? So you've had your dentist practice for 20 years, and then you invited in the tools of Access 17 years ago. Tell us the difference, because I'm sure you've had patients that went through that transition with you. What was the change that they received or that they were aware of before and after you started to use the tools of Access?
Well, it's been a progression. As more awareness comes, more ease comes, basically. So basically, it's all about ease with the body. The first thing, it's like when I did my first bars class, and then I learned about, one of the first things you learn about energy and Access maybe is, expectations and projections and all that kind of stuff. Well, when you go into the dental office, there's tons of fears and expectations and projections and all that come up. And so it's like just running that right away when somebody's in the dental chair is really a nice, pleasant thing to run off that energy.
So you personally, as a dentist, must have a much more enjoyable experience being a dentist, that you're not having as many projections thrown at you.
Oh my God, yes. So when I got out of dental school in 1994, I had a lot of anxiety in my universe, and I'd go to work every day, and I'd be like, I just had this kind of like angst going on, and and I didn't know that it didn't belong to me at all, and that I thought it was all mine. And so when I started Access, and you learn that 99% of your, 99.9% of your thoughts, feelings, emotions don't belong to you anyways. It's like, okay, who does that belong to? So it's like you may have heard that dentistry is a profession that has the highest suicide rate of all professions. Well, why do you think that is? Do you think people love going to the dentist and project that on the dentist, and the dentist goes home and wants to kill themselves? Maybe.
I don't think that people really understand what the dentist profession actually is providing for us and what they actually go through with all those projections. So do you have a clearing that we can kind of put out there for everybody?
Yeah, it's and so it's been a progression, and so it's really hard to answer your question, and because it's like every time something else comes up and I have more awareness, it gets better.
That's wonderful. I
do have another business called Happy Mouth.
Right.
And the great thing about Happy Mouth is that it's done completely drill-less. So, I do private sessions at my home or over the phone, or I do teleclasses, and where we look at everything in the mouth from a completely energetic point of view. So, so that's really what we're going to be talking about today, because I didn't bring my drill with me.
What? Dr. Tom, come on. No, that is fantastic. So if you would like to check out Dr. Tom's website, it's yourhappymouth.com. And you can also email him, Tom, at thehappymouth.com for more information about this amazing practice. So we actually have a caller on the line. Maureen has a question for us already. Welcome, Maureen, to the show.
Can I redirect people on that email? Actually, the way to contact me on email is info@thehappymouth.com.
Okay, sorry about that, Dr. Tom. No problem.
Info@thehappymouth.com.
Great. So, Maureen, you have a question for Dr. Tom?
Sure. Hi, and hi, Dr. Tom.
Hi, Maureen.
Hey, I'm just wondering, actually, was at one of your classes before in Colorado. I really, really enjoyed what you did. And I have a question about something that bothers me frequently, and just no dentist has been able to address it. And it's what they refer to as a tori. So the bone growth, the inside of the gum, like on my upper palate. And right. I always feel that there's a lot of pressure there. I always feel that that whole side there's something off there, and the thing is, that's just a physical manifestation of whatever. And I almost recently started thinking, just things like if a tooth were to come out there, another tooth would come out, and that's maybe what that bone is. So I'm all over the place with it, and I'd like to ask you about it.
Well, so a lot of people have tori, and it's actually considered a very normal phenomenon in the mouth. So there's different areas where tori happen, and so one of the more frequent areas are the mandibular tori, which is in and a lot, I think at least 7 to 10% of the population. Maybe it's 12. I forget the statistics. But 12% of the population, let's just say, have mandibular tori, which are bony growths on the inside of the lower part of the mouth. So where the tongue is just adjacent to the gums there on the inside of the mouth. And there's not, it's not that a tooth is going to grow there or something's going to pop out. It's just a thickening of the bone. And that thickening of the bone is really something that happens over time. I mean, people who have tori, at least the ones that are the mandibular tori, they get bigger over a lifetime. And so they grow a little bit, and then they take a vacation for 5 years, and then they grow a little bit more. And there's not a problem with them at all unless somebody, is going to have a set of dentures, and then they get in the way. But otherwise, what they really are thought to result from is from people who clench. When you clench, there's a lot more pressure in that area, and the body is just putting down more bone to compensate for that extra pressure.
Okay, definitely, that makes sense. Yeah, just once in a while, there's that. I've had it where that kind of swells up, and then dentists would tell me that's like a sinus problem, and there's a sinus pocket there that's being inflamed, and so it goes through my ear and that jaw and that whole area, and it seems to always be on that upper side where that tori is. So you can see where I feel that's related, or I'd like to do something about it.
I'm not quite sure about your situation, but let's just run a little something on what's going on with you in this area, because typically there's not all these complications with sinuses and stuff. So let's just run how many implanted and explanted impactions do you have in this area? Everything that is, would you like to just try and uncreate all that, please?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pod and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And so, so it's kind of a bony impaction there, and so you could have somebody, place their finger on it, or you could do it from outside the mouth too, and somebody just run the energy of impactions, energetic impactions of this area. So put your hands there, run energetic compactions, right, wrong, good, bad, online, pot, short, smart, beyond. Keep running that, and do that for several sessions and see if you have some dissipation there.
Just the words energetic impactions, like what energetic impactions do I have?
If you ran, MTVSS, you would run MTVSS and all the rest, right, wrong, good, bad, online, pot, short, smart, beyond. Same thing for energetic impactions, right, wrong, good, bad, online, pot, short, smart, beyond.
Okay. That is awesome. Thank you, Maureen, for a great question. Wow. So you just gave us an example of what people can expect, Dr. Tom, when they actually call you and set up a session with the Happy Mouth.
Right, exactly.
That's so cool. Okay, we are going to go for our first break, and when we come back, we're going to continue speaking with Dr. Tom about what else is possible with teeth. You are listening to Inspired Choices Radio on A2Zen.fm, and we will be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning into Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices Radio Show.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that when run assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bar session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
Managing your emotions is often seen as a hard thing to do. But what if that was a contribution in order to fully awaken who you really are? If you're not achieving your dreams in any area of your life, it's because you are not connecting with the emotions behind those dreams. Not because you can't, but because you haven't been taught how to. To learn how to change all of this, contact the emotional intelligence strategist, Joanne Del Corre. Joanne can be found at www.joannedelcorre.com or email joanne@joannedelcorre.com. Working with Joanne, you'll receive tools and information that will bring you to a place of true, sustained emotional health and happiness for you, your kids, and your family.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program today, please call toll-free in the U.S. 815-880-8255, TALK, or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us. Our Skype name is A2Zen.fm. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. We are talking with Dr. Tom about what else is possible with teeth. So, Dr. Tom, you gave a great clearing when we had Maureen on asking some questions. I guess some of the areas that I'm really interested in learning more about is how is it possible to regrow teeth?
Well, so, most people's bodies actually are designed to grow 4 to 5 sets of teeth.
What?
Yeah. That's a little bit surprising, isn't it? And so don't ask your dentist about that because they're not going to...
They're not going to tell me.
They're not going to collaborate that with you. So there's people on the planet right now who actually generate replacement teeth when they're required. There's not a ton of people, but they do it. And so, basically there are so if somebody's missing a tooth, there are tooth buds, energetic tooth buds, in the bone where that tooth is, or used to be, that are there that can be activated energetically, and it's not just like, okay, boink, you're done. There's a lot to get through to get to the point where they're, willing to activate. But there's points on the head that help activate things, and there's also a lot of processes that help generate those tooth buds too.
Okay, I am so curious about this. Can you give us a process? Like, what would you normally, or is it different for everyone?
So we used to talk. We used to talk a lot about somatids and progenitors, which are consciousness cells in the mouth. And one of the things that we would do is we'd activate these somatids and progenitors and move the polarity out of the way and get things going, growing, activated dynamically. And now there's something new that's come into access with neutrinos. And neutrinos are consciousness cells that are neutral, and they have no polarity. And so now we're playing around with neutrinos to help facilitate things for more people in a quicker way. So let's just run a general a general process to facilitate things. But it's like, when I have a telecall series that I do called Happy Mouth, and in the telecall series there's 6 75-minute calls, and one of the calls we spend just totally on activation of tooth buds, basically. And so, for me to get into that right now on a radio show, people are going to be disappointed. But let's just say, so what generative capacity for the instant solidification of the elementals into reality by request of the quantum entanglements fulfilled as a new tooth are you refusing to create and institute? Everything that is times a godzillion, will you destroy and uncreate all that, please?
Yes. Right,
wrong, good, bad, all 9, pod and puck, shorts, boys and beyonds.
Wow. That energy was very intense. Can you run it one more time, please?
Sure.
Ooh.
So, what generative capacity for the instant solidification of the elementals into reality by request of the quantum entanglements fulfilled as a new tooth are you refusing to create and institute? Everything that is times a godzillion, will you destroy and uncreate all that, please?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pod and puck, all 9, shorts, boys and beyond. So it's like we don't even really get into tooth buds until like the 4th call, because there's so much crap, if you will, that's in the way before you even want to get there.
Right.
So, basically where I'd want to start with people is like, so why don't we have everybody who's listening feel everything that you thought about how you must fix the teeth and fix the gums and fix the bone and fix the jaw, rather than regrowing teeth and new tooth structure and regrowing new gums and generating healthy periodontal structures and new bones and generating healthy jaw structures. And if you did grow a new tooth or new tooth structures or new gums or generate healthy periodontal structures and bone, well, it would be an accident anyways. Everything that is times a godzillion. Would you like to destroy and uncreate all that, please?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pod and puck, all 9, shorts, boys and beyonds. So, the thing about the mouth, and so before I get on along any further, it's like, when we do an energetic clearing in the mouth, the word that actually reads energetically for the mouth is the periodontal cavity. And so most people think periodontal means, the gums and the gum support and the bone and all that. But the word periodontal originally had a different meaning than it has today. So peri used to be a word that described a group of sprites. Sprites are like fairies, but they're not fairies. They are fallen angels that were originally regarded as evil and then regarded as good, and it's both a truth and a lie. So as a result of that, so basically sprites, they're actually considered in Persian folklore, these sprites, these peri sprites, they're supernatural beings that, this is the folklore anyways, that were descended from angels and excluded from paradise until penance was accomplished. So basically, the periodontal cavity, or the mouth, has been a place where it's considered the curse and damnation of embodiment.
Wow.
So that'll screw you up.
Just a little bit.
Well, if you think about it, and we'll run a process here in a second because I don't want everybody to get stuck on this.
Cool.
The mouth has been a place for, millennia where there's a lot of energies that can get stuck. So let's face it, lifetime after lifetime, the mouth is so intricate to survival. It's where we talk and communicate. It's where we get nourishment and eat. It's where we have sex and we can breathe through the mouth. And so there's so many things that can happen in a lifetime with the mouth that can get stuck there. And when that gets stuck there and, you have no way of awareness that something's stuck there, and you keep on building up stuff over lifetimes with the mouth, that can really screw things up. So let's just look at the periodontal cavity, for instance. It's been a way of implanting and explanting us with curses, damnations, condemnations, convictions, enslavement, sentences, and implants and explants and all that. So how many curses, damnations, condemnations, convictions, sentences, enslavements, implants, explants, and anything else I didn't mention do you have connected to each and every tooth and the gums and the bone and all of that? Would you like to just write on, create all that, please?
Oh, my gosh, yes, please.
Right, wrong, good, bad, POD and POC, all nine, shorts, boys and beyonds. So let's face it, it's like your toenails, they don't get decay and fall out. What's going on with the mouth that, everybody's having teeth decay and deteriorate and fall out, and, and your fingernails and toenails, they, you don't have to go to a nailologist and have them put let's put a mercury filling in your fingernail. That'll be fun. Let's do that.
Wow. You are really flipping everything on its head on this call. Everything that we've accepted as normal is totally changeable. And doing Access for 2 years, Dr. Tom, I've heard so many possibilities and so many things that can change, and never did I hear anything about the teeth and the mouth. We've bought into this reality that that's not changeable, and pretty normal to have everything that you've mentioned happen with our mouths. And you're saying that is completely a lie.
Yes, completely. The thing is, most bodies are currently designed or implanted to have the teeth rot out as a way to make sure that you don't stay in your body too long. It's another way. You can have a heart attack or you can get hit by a bus, but, there are a lot of ways to slowly kill yourself, and one of them is through your mouth. And so they were implanted that way to make sure you don't eat, over time. You might not eat the crunchy, healthy food that you need to so that you can get out of your body with some level of ease. And the thing is, most people have an unconscious commitment to death. And so if you have an unconscious commitment to death and you think that, okay, you turn 80 and then your body's going to really deteriorate fast and then you're going to jump out of the canoe and die. So if you have that commitment to death, how likely it is, how successful do you think you will be in generating new teeth and gums and all of that? A little or a lot?
Yeah, a lot.
Enough? So how many commitments do you have to death? And everything that you decided about that, will you revoke, recant, rescind, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and uncreate all that, please?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pod and puck, all 9, shorts, boys, and beyonds.
Wow. This is just
So what would
really
it take in your body until you chose to get out of your body, and in the meantime it didn't deteriorate, and you didn't buy into the program that, okay, the mouth deteriorates too, and so let's have them fall out, and all that happened to my mom and my grandma and my grandpa and everybody. So everything that brought up, would you like to destroy and uncreate all that, please?
Yes, please.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pun, puck, all 9, shorts, boys, and beyond.
Wow. Okay, well, you're really just giving it to everybody. There's so much coming up here. It's absolutely amazing, and I know for myself, I'm going to be listening to this call again after the recording is up, because it's extremely powerful, and the invitation of possibilities is huge here. Wow. Okay, so we are going to go to our second break, and when we come back, we're going to continue to talk with Dr. Tom. If you would like to check out everything that he's offering in the world regarding the Happy Mouth, please go to yourhappymouth.com, and you have your next teleseries coming up August the 16th. Is that correct, Dr. Tom?
That is correct.
Okay,
and,
great. So jump over there, people. Sign up. I'm sure if this is just a quick radio show, imagine what you would get for you and your body and your beautiful mouth on a teleseries. So
yeah, and there's no in my teleseries too.
There's what? Say that again?
There's no commercials in my telecalls.
There you go. Well, how lucky are all those people that are going to sign up? That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So we are, you are listening to Inspired Choices Radio on A to Zen.fm, and we will be right back after this next commercial break.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning into Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices Radio Show.
Being visible, being social, being heard. What desires are you ready to create? Would you like to take the next step to creating a potent presence on the web? Would it create more possibilities and expansion in your life? BeingVisible.ca offers website, social media, radio show creation, and more. Creating with consciousness, bringing the energy of you to your audience. Are you ready to connect with your audience clearly, regularly, and with ease? Christine McIver and Carol Glover work with individuals and organizations to create a powerful presence on the web. Personal attention and one-on-one training creates the ease with expanding you. Are you ready? Connect today at beingvisible.ca. Managing your emotions is often seen as a hard thing to do. But what if that was a contribution in order to fully awaken who you really are? If you're not achieving your dreams in any area of your life, it's because you are not connecting with the emotions behind those dreams. Not because you can't, but because you haven't been taught how to. To learn how to change all of this, contact the emotional intelligence strategist, Joanne Del Corre. Joanne can be found at www.joannedelcorre.com or email joanne@joannedelcorre.com. Working with Joanne, you'll receive tools and information that will bring you to a place of true, sustained emotional health and happiness for you, your kids, and your family.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program today, please call toll-free in the U.S. 815-880-8255, TALK, or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us. Our Skype name is a2zen.fm. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. We are talking with Dr. Tom about what is really possible with teeth. And Dr. Tom, what are some of the most common things that people come to you with the happy mouth that they would like to have changed, and that you find you start to see the change happen very, very quickly with those areas?
So, so most people have the common issues of the gums. There's a wide percentage of the population that has gingivitis, inflammation of the gums, bleeding gums, and then there's periodontal disease that a lot of the population has. A lot of people have gum recession, being long in the tooth. People don't like that too much. And people have missing teeth and problems with getting a lot of tooth decay, and they don't feel like their teeth are strong, and so we do processes and activations to strengthen the teeth. Then there's people with TMJ joint issues, with the grinding and clenching that goes with that. There's a lot of things that come up about mercury, about plaque, acid balance, decay, basically anything that comes up for anybody in their mouths. And there's also various things, that are different that come up once in a while, like people who have like really dry mouths, or people who need a ton of anesthetic when they go to the dentist, or they have questions because every time they go to the dentist they gag like crazy. So we cover everything from A to Z, from abscess to zingers.
That's absolutely fantastic. So if you're doing this work with individuals without using your drill, is your desire one day to be able to put your drill down forever?
Well, happy mouth isn't really a complete substitute for going to the dentist right now, at least for most people. And you still have to brush and floss, and it's not about going into autopilot. It's about awareness and asking questions and choosing more. So, it's not like, oh, I did happy mouth now I don't have to floss, yay!
So you've obviously had somebody say that to you.
Actually the body likes to be nurtured, and
right.
Actually is nurturing for the body, so ask your gums, it's true.
Wow. So talking to your gums now. We talk to the body, just never even thought about talking to my gums or my teeth before.
Yeah, so, most people who see me, they already have their own regular dentist, and they need to go see them to diagnose things and talk to them and, whatever needs to happen. Because if you got, the body needs a good mechanic once in a while.
Right.
But everything with Happy Mouth is really there to help create a situation where everything is a lot easier and more generative for the mouth, which is the way it's really meant to be. Instead of a deteriorating situation, it's a generating situation.
That's wonderful. So you must have a lot of experience with people doing a lot of judgment about their teeth and about their mouths when they're coming to you both in your regular practice and in the Happy Mouth practice.
Judgment is, everybody loves to judge themselves in so many different ways. It's really, judgment of yourself is really the greatest love of all, isn't it? Whitney Houston had it all wrong. It's like the greatest love of all is judging ourselves.
Okay, everybody, if you're not picking up, he's being sarcastic right now.
Yeah, well, of course I'm being sarcastic. So everything that brought up, would you like to try and uncreate all that, please?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pod and puck, all nine shorts, boys, meons. It's hard to change things in your mouth and when you have such complete judgment in your mouth, too. So we do a lot to get people out of that in the first place before we even move on. So.
Right. So your telecall series is how many calls?
It's 6.
It's 6 calls, and is it weekly, like one call a week for 6 weeks?
It's once a month, and people go, oh, once a month, that's so long in between. But I really like people to practice, I like them to listen to all the processing that goes on and listen to the recordings because they're going to get more out of it deeper. because I want them to really get into it before we go to the next call, because it's like I really like to get people far. And so it's like to just, because there's a lot of activation points, too, that we discuss and we activate. And so, maybe we should do one right now. So before we go any further, right now for all the listeners, let's activate something that's called the Dental Generative System. And it's a point that's in the middle of the skull on both sides, and don't worry where it is. I'll activate it for everyone, even if you're listening to the recording. So let's initiate, activate, and exponentialize the Dental Generative System. Initiate, activate, and exponentialize the Dental Generative System. Now, you might feel something and you might not, and it doesn't matter. And so let me tell you how this point was discovered. So it was like in 1999, I went to an Access Level 2 and 3 in San Francisco, and about 2 days into the class, I felt this strong current in my skull. It was like cold, it was hot, it was tingly, it was sharp, it was burning, it was electrical. I mean, basically, though, it was completely annoying. So I looked around the class to see if anyone else was looking bothered, because it's like, what's going on here? Nope, nobody else was bothered. I asked my girlfriend at the time, who was with me, and I looked at her and I said, do you feel that? And she's like, nah, nope. And so, of course, I went into what the hell's wrong with me. So it would cycle on and off for 10 minutes every 3 hours about for the next 3 days. And so on the last day, I asked Gary Douglas, the founder of Access, I said, can you do a channeling session with me in your hotel room before you go to the airport? And thank God he said yes. And so Gary channeled, these beings that he was channeling and at the time. And I said, what's going on here? Because I was going into complete wrongness of it and that I was broken and something needs to be fixed. And so they said, well, what's happened is you've activated in yourself something that's a generative activation system for the whole mouth. And I said, so what? And they said, well, the reason I'd done that on myself is so that I could show others. I'm like, oh. So actually, over the last 16 years, numerous other generative activation points and restoration points have come forward. And so actually, so I'm working with clients on specific issues in their mouths, like the gums or something, and I'd have these points fire up on my skull, and at first I was stupid about it again. I'd be like, God, what's going on with my head? And then I was like, oh, wait a second.
It's not
Every
mine.
time I'm working on a client about their, like their gums, this point fires up. And I'm like, oh. So, with more activations came more awareness.
Right.
And so it's always about, okay, what is it? What do I do with it?
Right.
So it's been a progression.
So if that is occurring for you, Dr. Tom, could it also be occurring for the rest of us, where we're having sensations and activations in our mouths that aren't really ours, but we're buying into them, which is creating more of the chaos in our mouths?
So can you repeat that again?
Certainly. So can that also be occurring for other people, that we are having some sensations, a lot of people would call pain or intensities in our mouths, and it's not even ours?
Well, so these activation points are really about generating in the mouth. And so if somebody's having a pain in their mouth, is pain real in the first place, or is it just an intensity of awareness?
Right.
So
I would say an intensive awareness.
Yeah. So a lot of people have pain in their mouth, and what is that pain telling you? So it's always about asking the question. So everything that does not allow you to perceive, know, be, and receive the intensity of awareness that is pain, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate all of that, please?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, POD and POC, all nine, shorts, boy, and beyonds. And, of course, you have to ask, is this yours or someone else or something else? Or,
Right. Absolutely.
Right.
Wow, you are giving us so much to quote-unquote chew on. Sorry, I had to say it. There's just so much in this call. It's absolutely amazing. I can't imagine what 6 telecalls would be like. It would. No wonder people. I mean, you obviously have strong awareness that a month it really is what's required for people to really dissect all of this and get the whole value of that call. I think that's a brilliant way that you've set that up.
Well, I mean, my whole target is to get people, as many people as I can, to activate systems and have more awareness and generate in their mouth, because hardly anybody's doing it. I mean, there's, some people up in the top of the Himalayan mountains who are doing it, but there's not a lot of people in your neighborhood probably doing that.
Right. Well, I think that's an amazing target. And everyone that's listening to this call, again, I would strongly encourage you to go over to Dr. Tom's website page, yourhappymouth.com, and check that out. It's going to be an amazing class or telecall, I'm sure. And you're also going to be on Voice America with Gary Douglas this week, are you not?
That is correct.
Wow, you are just going to change the world's mouths, one call at a time. That's fantastic. So we're going to go for our last break, and when we come back, we're going to wrap up with Dr. Tom and what else is possible with mouths. So stay tuned. You're listening to Inspired Choices on A2Zen.fm.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning into Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices Radio Show.
What if you really do change molecules by your interaction with them? What if the change you've been looking for is right before your eyes? What if the uncomfortableness that comes with difference could be fun? What if the closed-minded people of the world no longer determined our world? What if gratitude trumps judgment every time? What if your kindness healed the world? What if the earth is asking for your help? And what if you had the resources to give it? This is your invitation to step into something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Picasso, Da Vinci, Shakespeare, Aristotle all knew to be true. Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago, I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything changed for me. What if there are no dumb questions, or any question too large? What if you, being you, are the gift and the change this world requires? Is now the time? For more questions to create a change in your world, sign up for a free video series at beingyouclass.com. My gift to you, beingyouclass.com.
Managing your emotions is often seen as a hard thing to do. But what if that was a contribution in order to fully awaken who you really are? If you're not achieving your dreams in any area of your life, it's because you are not connecting with the emotions behind those dreams. Not because you can't, but because you haven't been taught how to. To learn how to change all of this, contact the emotional intelligence strategist, Joanne Del Corre. Joanne can be found at www.joannedelcorre.com or email joanne@joannedelcorre.com. Working with Joanne, you'll receive tools and information that will bring you to a place of true, sustained emotional health and happiness for you, your kids, and your family.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program today, please call toll-free in the U.S. 815-880-8255, TALK, or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us. Our Skype name is A2Zen.fm. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. We're talking with Dr. Tom about what else is possible with teeth. I can't believe it's gone so quickly, Dr. Tom. What is the one thing that you really want people to learn from this radio show tonight that we've been talking about? What's the one thing you'd like them to take away?
The one thing would be that it's just a algorithm and an interesting point of view and an implanted point of view that the body and the mouth is included in that, has to deteriorate. And so, what we found is that the mouth is such a source point for so many energetic disruptions in the mouth. Mm-hmm. Because the thing is that, so I'm right now studying on the East Coast to also become a naturopath, because it helps me with my biologic dentistry. And one of the things they said at one of my recent classes was that 80% of the disease within the body can at least partially be traced back to the mouth. So the thing is, when we do clearings on the mouth and help the mouth heal, it can affect other parts of the body that you had no idea they were connected.
Wow, 80%.
It's partially source point from the mouth, and they're finding that in science. So let's run something on that before we all explode.
Please.
So run all the relational and creational source points, cross-purpose relational and cross-purpose creational source points, and all the causal and effect source points, and the expressional and generation source points, which make your tooth or teeth decay, fall out, crack, abscess, or become obsolete, and also which make your gums recede, your periodontal structures degenerate, your bone support degenerate, and your TMJ structures degenerate, and any of the source points that create any of the destruction and disease within your body, and anything else that I forgot to mention. Would you like to just try and create all that, please?
Yes, please.
Good, bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyond.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much for everything that you've contributed to us and for all the amazing work you're doing in the world. Access is certainly better for the work that you've done and the awarenesses that you're bringing forth. And these telecalls that you're doing and the one-on-one sessions sound like they're amazing. And I'm sure we're going to be seeing lots more of what you're creating in the world, Dr. Tom. So thank you so much for being with us today.
You're welcome.
So if you would like to get in touch with Dr. Tom, again, please go to yourhappymouth.com. And if you would like to email him, it's info@thehappymouth.com. And as I said, his teleseries is coming up in August. And what are the infinite possibilities for changing everything in your mouth that is not working for you? So please do check him out. It is totally amazing, as Keisha, my producer, has just put in the chat room. And we look forward to hearing more and more about what you're creating. If you would like to contact me, next week we're actually going to have a show called Screw It, Just Do It. And it's going to be talking about taking those steps forward in your life and your business where you haven't been willing to do that. And also coming up this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'm going to be doing a bars and a foundation class. And then next Saturday and Sunday, a level 1 class, and all of those are in Toronto. You can contact me through my website at inspiredchoices.ca, or you can email me, Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Also, if you've ever considered doing your own radio show, I do own the A2Zen.fm radio station, and we are looking for new shows that are going to be creating even more amazing content. We have so many amazing hosts on the channel now, and we just want to keep growing it and getting it all around the world so that we can be a contribution to so many more people. So if you are interested in learning more, again, Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Remember, you always have another choice. So wherever you are in the world, be sure that you are checking in with you and what would work for you, and ask yourself, what choice would I like to make here that would be a contribution to me? Have an amazing week, everyone. Bye for now.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on A2Zen.fm. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have the best week of your life by making the choices that bring you all that you desire.